हेलो गाइस, वेलकम टू द चैनल। और आज हम बात करने जा रहे हैं जावास्क्रिप्ट के एक कॉन्सेप्ट के बारे में जो कि है होइस्टिंग। और ये एक उन कॉन्सेप्ट में से है जो बहुत ही ज़्यादा इंटरव्यू में पूछा जाता है। और इसलिए भी पूछा जाता है क्योंकि ये एक ऐसा कॉन्सेप्ट है जो बाकी लैंग्वेजेस में अप्लाई नहीं होता बट जावास्क्रिप्ट में अप्लाई होता है। और इसलिए थोड़ा सा जावास्क्रिप्ट जो है हमारा बीएड लैंग्वेज भी कहा जाता है। और इस होइस्टिंग कॉन्सेप्ट के कारण बहुत सारे जो आउटपुट क्वेश्चंस बनते हैं वो बहुत बार पूछे जाते हैं। तो चलिए बात करते हैं ये होइस्टिंग होता क्या है। अब सो होइस्टिंग बाय डॉक्यूमेंटेशन होस्टिंग कहता है कि whenever we declare a variable of order of function, it appears that it gets declared at the top of the scope rather than जहाँ पर वो लिखा गया है। Now what does this mean actually? चलिए कुछ एग्जांपल्स के हेल्प से हम समझने की कोशिश करते हैं इसका मतलब क्या है। तो let's start with declaring a variable. Uh, let's say we have declared a variable welcome message and we are simply printing it out on the console. So if we do that, the output will be welcome to JS world what we have assigned to welcome message variable. So it's pretty simple. और ऐसे अगर सपोज हमारे पास एक फंक्शन है स्क्वायर करने के लिए, नंबर का स्क्वायर करने के लिए मैंने एक फंक्शन बनाया एंड वी आर ट्राइंग टू सेंड टू into it. So it will console log the square of the number which we have passed. So the output what we expect is 4. So it's running perfectly fine. और ऐसा ही हम बाकी languages में भी देखते हैं. But not but but now in JavaScript, what happens if I try to access this welcome message before even it is declared? अभी यहाँ तक कोई declaration के statement नहीं आया है, but still I am trying to print this welcome message. What is the expected behavior? The expected behavior will be it shows undefined. Now why it's showing undefined? Now you will say that variable declare nahi hua hai, so that's why it's showing undefined. But what happens if the variable is not declared? If I am just commenting out the statement कि ये variable declare ही नहीं हुआ है, then there is an error. Now it's showing reference error, welcome message is not defined. So in JavaScript, not defined and undefined are two different things. Like undefined, we have a variable declared, but the value has not been assigned to it. That's why it's an undefined. And when this error comes not defined, that means the variable which we are trying to access does not exist also. And it breaks the JavaScript. So if you will see, it's not printing the number 4, the square of the number, because the error came and it breaks the flow. So let's bring the welcome message again and we'll see the error goes away and it's showing undefined. Now what happens if I try to do the square of the number before even the function has been declared? Like if I try to this, now what will happen? Will it show undefined? No, it will not show undefined. It will still show 4. Why it's showing 4? Because when functions are hoisted, they are hoisted along with their body. Like the square number, when we are trying to access welcome message, it's like we are doing var and message this what JavaScript is interpreting. But what happens when we are doing for function, the function gets hoisted along with its body. So if I try to console log square number here, you will see that the whole function along with its body is getting hoisted. That is the beauty of JavaScript. When you are using functions, it can be declared at any place. But if that function is declared in its scope, you can access it even before it is being declared or even it's written. That's why hoisting is so powerful. Now, why it happens? It happens because JavaScript, when JavaScript runs, there are two things. There is an execution context creation and then the runtime. So what happens in execution context? Memory allocation happens. So whatever the variables, the functions, the class, let, const, whatever are created in the scope, they assign the memory to that. That's why these variable and these functions are already accessible to us to use so that there is no error on it. Now let's see another example. In this example, I'm just going to comment out the previous square function और अब हम function को थोड़ा सा अलग तरीके से हम declare कर रहे हैं. We are assigning it to a variable and we are trying to console log the use the square number, let's say 3. What do you expect right now? It will simply answer as 9. But what happens if I try to do this? Now you some of might say that कि हमने बोला कि function है तो function की body के साथ ये hoist होगा, but no, the behavior will be square number is not a function. Why square number is not a function even we are assigning it to a function? That is because कि hoisting हो रही है वो variable की हो रही है यहाँ पे, ना कि function की, because we are initializing the variable with a function and not initializing a function. So in this case, when we will console log square number, we will see that it will showing undefined. This is the first undefined is due to console log. So this is the undefined for square number because the variable is getting hoisted, not the function. So that's why if you are trying to declare the function in this way, then keep in mind you won't be able to use the function before its initialization. So function hoisting, the behavior of function hoisting won't happen if you try to declare the function in this way. Now let's see some more example of hoisting. और hoisting कैसे different scope पे different hoisting होती है, variable shadowing में क्या effect आता है, चलिए देखते हैं. Suppose I have a function, suppose aks, and inside that I created a variable name that is my name, and I am creating another function that is inner function, and I am trying to print my name, right? So if I'll call this Akshay, what will happen? It will not show because we haven't called the inner function as of yet. So it's showing Akshay, right? So it's a normal behavior. Now what happens if I call this inner function even before the variable name Akshay has been declared? What will be the behavior? Like, will it be calling printing Akshay or will it be showing undefined? Now because of hoisting, it will show undefined. Why? Because when the inner function is being called, the name has not been initialized, although it has been hoisted, but it is not been initialized with the variable with the value Akshay. That's why it's showing as undefined. So the hoisting happens at a function level and we are calling the inner function. It's trying to access the name at that point, and at that point this statement has not run, but due to hoisting it is showing undefined. Okay. Now if I'll try to use the inner function outside of function Akshay, we won't be able to use it. Why? Simple answer, that inner function is not defined because the inner function is hoisted inside the scope of AKS. It's not hoisted outside its scope. So that's why the inner function is not accessible and it is not able to find the definition for inner function, and it is even not hoisted. So this is one of the example. Now let's see one more scenario on this क्योंकि ये बहुत ही एक अच्छा example है. Suppose I created another variable name with the same name and I gave it as Sinha, that is my title. So what do you expect right now? Will it show undefined or it will show Sinha? Will it try to access the name here when we are printing because this is after inner function, or will it show undefined? It will still show undefined. That is because of hoisting. This variable is not being accessed, and because it is hoisted, name is hoisted here, it is hoisted with value undefined, and that's why when we are calling inner function it's showing as undefined. But on the other way, if we remove this where this statement, now if we try to run it, it will show Sinha as the value because it is accessing the outer scopes variable name. So in the next video, I'm going to cover the difference between var, let and const, and how hoisting affect with let and const, and what happens, why it's not accessible, what is temporal dead zone. So all these I'm going to cover in the next video. So please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you like this video, and keep watching this space for my upcoming videos on JavaScript. Thank you guys.